The knife went in, and Ethan did not scream. He was 7 years old, barefoot, starving, and he did not let go of Maya's hand. Blood poured down his arm, soaking into the cracked pavement of the parking lot behind Chen's
Look what
family
I
diner.
made for you.
The pain
Wow,
was
a butterfly.
white-hot,
Thank you. Do
blinding,
you like
the
it?
kind
Yes,
of pain
it's
that should
beautiful.
have made him crumple
Hey,
to
buddy,
the ground
how
and
are you
curl into
feeling?
a ball.
My arm
But his
hurts a
fingers
little.
stayed locked
I know,
around
you're being
hers.
so brave.
Small fingers.
To
5-year-old
family.
fingers.
To
Sticky
family.
from the lollipop she had been eating. The man in the dark hoodie kicked him in the ribs. Something cracked, a sound like a branch snapping in winter. Still, Ethan held on. "Run!" he choked out, shoving her toward the back door of the diner. His voice was barely a whisper, crushed by the weight of broken bones. "Maya, run!" He collapsed onto the pavement. Blood pooled beneath him, spreading in a dark circle that caught the last light of the setting sun. His vision blurred. The world tilted sideways. The last thing he saw was Maya's face. What Ethan did not know was that her father commanded 200 bikers, and by morning every single one of them would come for the boy who bled for their princess. 3 hours earlier, Ethan had been counting bottle caps. It was a stupid thing, counting bottle caps. He knew that. But when you were 7 years old and had nothing else, you found things to count, things to collect, things to make you feel like you existed. 47 bottle caps. That was how many he had now. He kept them in a rusty tin box behind the dumpster at Chen's family diner, right next to his sleeping spot. The box had a picture of Christmas cookies on the lid, faded and scratched from years of weather and neglect. But Ethan liked it. It reminded him of something, though he could not remember what anymore. His mother, maybe, before she got sick, before everything went dark. Her name was Grace. She had brown hair that smelled like lavender shampoo, and she used to fold paper butterflies out of napkins and newspaper and anything she could find. She told him butterflies were magic because they started as something ugly and turned into something beautiful. She said that could happen to people too. Then she got cancer and the magic stopped. Ethan was 5 when she died. He went into the foster care system 3 days after the funeral. The first family was okay. The second was not. The third was worse. By the 4th placement, he had learned that adults only pretended to care. They took in foster kids for the money, not for love. And when the money was not enough to deal with a quiet, watchful boy who flinched at loud noises, they sent him back. The last foster father drank. When he drank, he hit. Ethan ran away the night the man broke a bottle over his shoulder. He was 6 years old. He had been living on the streets ever since. 18 months, alone, invisible. Ethan sat on the ground behind the dumpster, his back against the warm brick wall of the diner. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the parking lot. He picked up another bottle cap from the collection spread out before him. This one was red, a Coca-Cola cap. The paint was mostly worn off, but the center was still shiny where his thumb had rubbed it smooth. His mind worked differently than other kids, though he did not know that. He saw patterns where others saw chaos. He remembered things with perfect clarity, as if his brain took photographs and stored them forever. License plates, faces, numbers, conversations overheard from across a room. It was a gift and a curse. The gift part meant he could survive. The curse part meant he could never forget. He remembered every foster home, every slap, every door that closed in his face. Every morning he woke up hungry. Every night he fell asleep cold. But he also remembered his mother's face, the exact shade of her brown eyes, the melody she hummed while folding butterflies, the way she said his name, soft and loving, like he was the most important person in the world. Ethan, the voice cut through his thoughts like sunshine through storm clouds. He looked up and there she was, Maya Barrett, 5 years old, standing at the edge of the parking lot with her hands on her hips like she owned the whole world. "Ethan, what are you doing?" He quickly shoved the bottle cap into his pocket. "Nothing." "That is not nothing. I saw you. You were looking at something." She walked toward him, her pink sneakers crunching on the gravel. Ethan noticed she had a new scrape on her knee. She was always getting scrapes, always running, always climbing, always falling down and getting back up again. "It is just a bottle cap," he mumbled. "Can I see?" He hesitated. Then slowly he pulled it out. It was the Coca-Cola cap, the red paint mostly worn off but still shiny in the center where his thumb had rubbed it smooth. Maya took it from his palm and examined it like it was a precious gemstone. Her eyes went wide with wonder. "It is beautiful," she said. Ethan felt something warm spread through his chest, a strange feeling. He was not used to it. "You can have it," he said, "if you want." Her eyes went even wider. Really? Yeah, I got lots of them. She clutched the bottle cap to her chest like it was the most valuable thing in the world. I am going to keep it forever, she announced. I am going to put it in my special box with my butterfly. The butterfly, Ethan remembered. A paper butterfly Maya had made 2 weeks ago. She had folded it carefully out of a napkin, tongue poking out in concentration. And then she had placed it in his palm like she was handing him a piece of her heart. This is for you, she had said, so you are not sad anymore. Butterflies turn from caterpillars into something beautiful. Mama says people can do that too. He still had it, folded carefully inside his jacket pocket, protected from the rain and the wind and the loneliness. He slept with it every night, holding it in his fist like a prayer. He had never told her that. Your mom is going to be looking for you, Ethan said now. Maya scrunched up her face. She is busy. She is always busy. She is working hard. For you. I know, but I do not like being alone. Ethan felt his heart twist. He knew that feeling. He knew it better than anyone. You are not alone, he said quietly. I am here. Maya smiled at him, a real smile, the kind that made her whole face light up like the sun coming out from behind the clouds. Yeah, she said, you are always here. The thing about being invisible was that people told you things without meaning to. They talked in front of you like you were not there. They argued, whispered secrets, made plans, all while looking right through you like you were made of glass. Ethan had learned more about the world from being invisible than most kids learned in school. He knew that Mr. Peterson from the hardware store was cheating on his wife with the lady who worked at the bank. He knew that the teenagers who hung out behind the gas station were selling more than just cigarettes. He knew that Sheriff Cooper sometimes drank on duty and that Mrs. Wheeler's mom had gotten kicked out of college but was too ashamed to tell her. And he knew that a white van had been circling the block for 3 days. Same van, same time, same route. He had noticed it on Monday. A white panel van with no windows in the back, driving slow through the neighborhood like the driver was looking for something. Tuesday, it came back. Wednesday, it slowed down when it passed the diner. Today was Thursday. Ethan watched the van from his spot behind the dumpster. It was parked now, 2 blocks down, just visible through the gap between buildings. He could see the driver's silhouette, but not his face. The driver was not doing anything, just sitting there, waiting. Ethan had seen waiting before. He had seen it in the foster homes, in the eyes of men who pretended to be nice but were not. He had learned to recognize it, that patient, predatory stillness. Something was wrong, he just did not know what yet. His mind took another photograph. The van, white, panel style, no rear windows, license plate partly visible through the gap. 7XYH492. He stored the information away, the way he stored everything, just in case. Ethan, look what I made! Maya came running out the back door of the diner, holding something in her hands. Her mother's voice followed her out. Maya, stay where I can see you. I will, Mama. Ethan stood up, brushing dirt off his jeans. They were too big for him, held up by a rope belt he had found at a construction site. His shirt was cleaner today. Mrs. Chen had let him wash it in the diner's bathroom yesterday. Maya thrust her creation toward him. It was a paper crane, slightly lopsided, made from a napkin. I learned how to make a bird, she announced proudly. It is for you, for your collection. You can put it with the butterfly. Ethan took the crane carefully, like it might dissolve if he held it too tight. His throat felt thick. His eyes stung. Thank you, he said, his voice cracked on the words. Maya tilted her head, studying him with those big brown eyes that seemed to see everything. Are you sad? No. You look sad. I am not sad, I am just... He did not know how to finish. He did not have words for what he was. Maya reached out and took his hand. Her fingers were small and warm and slightly sticky from whatever she had been eating inside. She held his hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. My daddy says that sometimes people are and they do not even know it, she said. He says you just got to be nice to them and maybe they will feel better. Your daddy sounds smart. He is the smartest. He has got a motorcycle. It is really loud. He lets me sit on it sometimes, but only when it is not moving. She paused, her face brightening with an idea. Do you want to meet him? He would like you. Ethan felt his stomach tighten. I do not think that is a good idea. Why not? Because parents did not want their kids hanging around homeless boys. Because one look at him would make Maya's father grab her hand and pull her away. Because this fragile friendship would shatter the moment an adult got involved. Because I am busy, he said lamely. Maya did not believe him. He could see it in her eyes, but she did not push. Okay, she said. Maybe later. Nina Barrett appeared at the back door, wiping her hands on her apron. Maya, come inside. Dinner rush is starting. But Mama, now baby. Maya sighed dramatically, the sigh of a 5-year-old who believed she was being terribly mistreated. I got to go, she said to Ethan. I know. Will you be here tomorrow? Ethan nodded. I am always here. She gave him one last smile, then ran toward the door. She stopped halfway, turned back and waved. Bye, Ethan. Bye. Nina held the door open, watching her daughter approach. Then her eyes lifted to Ethan. For a moment, their gazes locked. Ethan braced himself for the disgust, the fear, the instinctive protectiveness that would make her grab Maya and pull her inside and tell her never to talk to that dirty boy again. But Nina Barrett did something unexpected. She smiled at him. It was small, tired, but real. A smile that said, I see you. Then she ushered Maya inside and closed the door. Ethan stood there for a long moment, the paper crane still in his hands. I see you. When was the last time someone had seen him? The sun began to drop. Shadows stretched across the parking lot, crawling over the cracked pavement like dark fingers reaching for something to hold. Ethan should have settled into his spot behind the dumpster, should have eaten the half sandwich Mrs. Chen had left for him in the usual place, a plastic container hidden behind the recycling bins where no one else would see. But he could not shake the feeling in his gut. The van was still there. He walked to the edge of the parking lot, keeping close to the building's wall. From here, he could see the street better. The van had not moved in 2 hours. That was not normal. People did not sit in their cars for 2 hours doing nothing, not unless they were waiting for something specific. Or someone. Ethan's heart began to beat faster. His photographic memory pulled up the pattern. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, same van, same time, same slow drive past the diner, same pause when Maya was outside. Maya. The realization hit him like ice water. They were watching Maya. He thought about telling someone, Mrs. Chen, maybe, or Nina. But what would he say? There is a van, and I have a bad feeling. They would think he was crazy. They would pat his head and tell him not to worry and send him away. No one listened to invisible boys. No one except Maya. The back door opened. Ethan spun around, expecting Nina or Mrs. Chen. It was Maya. She was alone. What are you doing? He hissed, running toward her. You are supposed to be aside. I forgot to give you this. She held out her hand. In her palm was a red lollipop. Mrs. Chen gave it to me, but I wanted you to have it. Maya, you have to go back inside. Why, what is wrong? Everything, Ethan wanted to say. Everything is wrong, and I do not know how to explain it. Just please go back inside, he said. Maya frowned. You are being weird. I am not being... He heard it then. An engine starting. He turned. The white van was moving. Maya, get inside now. But... He grabbed her hand and started pulling her toward the door. Maya stumbled, confused, scared by the sudden change in his voice. Ethan, you are hurting me. I am sorry, just please. The van turned the corner. It was coming into the parking lot. Ethan's mind went blank with terror. There was no time. The door was 50 feet away and the van was moving fast. They were not going to make it. Run, he breathed. Maya, run. They ran. Ethan had never run so fast in his life. His lungs burned. His legs screamed. Maya was crying now, stumbling over her own feet, and he was practically dragging her. 30 feet to the door. 20. The van doors slid open. A man jumped out. Big. Fast. Wearing a dark hoodie that shadowed his face. 15 feet. Help! Ethan screamed. Somebody help! The man was right behind them. Ethan felt a hand grab his collar, yanking him backwards so hard his feet left the ground. He twisted, kicked, threw his elbow back as hard as he could. The grip loosened. 1 second was enough. Go! He shoved Maya forward. Run to the door! But Maya did not run. She turned around. The man's fist connected with the side of Ethan's head. Stars exploded across his vision. He hit the ground hard, gravel tearing into his palms. Blood filled his mouth. He had bitten his tongue. Stupid kid, the man snarled. He stepped over Ethan, reaching for Maya. No, 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 no! Ethan grabbed the man's ankle. He held on with everything he had, every ounce of strength in his starving, beaten body. Run, he screamed. Maya, run! The man cursed, tried to shake him off. When that did not work, he kicked. The boot slammed into Ethan's ribs. The same ribs that had already cracked. The same ribs that now shattered. Pain, white hot, blinding. He could not breathe, could not think, but he did not let go. He would never let go. The man kicked again, harder this time. Ethan's grip slipped. Everything was spinning, darkening at the edges. Mama, Mama, Maya screamed. Mama, Mama. But she did not run. She was 5 years old and terrified, and she did not run. Instead, she bent down and picked up a rock. The man lunged for her. Maya threw the rock as hard as she could. It struck him square in the face. Blood burst from his nose. He stumbled backward, cursing, clutching his face. You little... Ethan grabbed the man's jacket. Leave her alone. The man spun around. There was something in his hand now, something that caught the fading sunlight. A knife. You want to die, kid? Fine. The blade came down. Ethan did not feel it at first. He saw the knife cutting into his arm, deep, blood welling up immediately, spilling down his skin in a red river. But the pain took a second to arrive. When it did, it was worse than anything he had ever experienced. He screamed, but he still did not let go of Maya's hand. Get off him, Mrs. Chen came out of nowhere. She had a frying pan in her hand, and she swung it like a baseball bat. The man ducked, stumbled backward. Help, Mrs. Chen screamed. Somebody call 911. The man looked at Maya, at Ethan, at the frying pan. Then he looked at the diner, where faces were appearing in windows, where the sounds of chaos were drawing attention. He ran. The van peeled out of the parking lot, tires squealing, and disappeared around the corner. Mrs. Chen dropped to her knees beside Ethan. Her face was white. Her hands were shaking. Oh God, you are bleeding everywhere. Maya, Ethan gasped. Is Maya? I am here. Small hands touched his face. Maya was crying, snot and tears running down her cheeks. But she was there. She was alive. She was safe. Ethan, do not die. Please do not die. I am not dying. But he was not sure. Everything was getting fuzzy. The world was tilting sideways. The sky above him was turning dark, and he could not tell if it was night falling or his vision fading. Stay with me, Mrs. Chen was saying. She was pressing something against his arm, trying to stop the bleeding. Stay with me, honey. Help is coming. Ethan looked at Maya. Her face was blurry, but he could still see her eyes. Those big brown eyes that had seen him when no one else would. You are okay, he whispered. She nodded, still crying. Good. He tried to smile. He was not sure if he succeeded. Good. Then Maya did something that would stay with Ethan for the rest of his life. She grabbed his bloody hand and held on tight. I am not letting go, she said. Her voice was fierce, determined. The voice of a 5-year-old who had just decided something and would not be moved. You did not let go of me. I am not letting go of you. I promise. His eyes closed. Nina Barrett ran out the back door and stopped dead. Her daughter was covered in blood. For one terrible moment, her heart simply stopped. The world went silent. Her vision narrowed to a single point. Maya's small body, red-stained, kneeling on the pavement. Maya. Mama, help him. Help Ethan. Nina's brain caught up. The blood was not Maya's. It was the homeless boy who was always around the parking lot. He was lying on the ground, deathly pale, his arms sliced open, bone visible through the wound. What happened? She was already on her knees, already stripping off her apron, already pressing it against the wound with both hands. The blood soaked through immediately. A man tried to take me, Maya sobbed. Ethan stopped him. He would not let go, Mama. He would not let go. Nina looked down at the boy in her arms, 7 years old, half-starved, homeless, and he had thrown himself in front of a knife for her daughter. The ambulance is coming, Mrs. Chen said. I called 911. Nina nodded, but she was already reaching for her phone with her free hand, already dialing a number she knew by heart. It rang once. Hey, baby, what is up? Nina's voice cracked. Cole. Silence. 1 heartbeat. 2. Her husband knew her voice, knew when something was wrong. What? Someone tried to take Maya. 3 heartbeats of silence. Then, where are you? The diner, the parking lot. I am on my way. The line went dead. Nina looked down at the boy bleeding in her arms. His eyes were closed. His breathing was shallow. His skin was gray. Hold on, sweetheart, she whispered. Please hold on. Ethan did not respond, but somewhere in the distance, an engine roared to life. Then another. Then another. Cole Barrett did not remember the drive. One moment he was at the clubhouse, sitting around a table with his brothers, talking about nothing important. The next moment, his phone rang, and Nina's voice shattered his world. Someone tried to take Maya. He was on his bike before the call ended. The engine screamed beneath him. The wind tore at his face, and all he could think was, "Not my daughter, not my little girl." The clubhouse emptied behind him. He did not have to ask. He did not have to explain. His brothers heard Nina's voice through the phone, heard the fear, heard the word Maya. They were on their bikes before he was. The drive to the diner took 6 minutes. It felt like 6 hours. The ambulance was already there when he arrived. Paramedics were loading someone onto a stretcher. A small body, too small, covered in blood. His heart seized. "Daddy!" Maya came running out of nowhere and slammed into his legs. He scooped her up, crushed her against his chest, and for 10 seconds he just breathed. She was alive. She was here. She was okay. Baby girl, are you hurt?" "I am okay, Daddy, but Ethan is not okay. The man hurt him really bad." Cole looked over her shoulder. The stretcher was being loaded into the ambulance now. He could see the boy's face, pale, eyes closed, an oxygen mask covering his mouth and nose. "Who is Ethan?" Nina appeared beside him. Her hands were covered in blood. Her face was white. "He is a homeless boy," she said. "He has been living behind the diner." Cole stared at her. "A homeless?" "He saved her, Cole." Nina's voice cracked. He threw himself between Maya and the kidnapper. He took a knife for her. Cole looked at the ambulance. A homeless 7-year-old had done what he was not there to do. A child had protected his daughter when he could not. "What hospital?" "Riverside General." Cole handed Maya to Nina. "Take her home. Get the clubhouse locked down. No one in or out until I know what is going on." "Where are you going?" "The hospital." He climbed back on his bike. His hands were shaking. His heart was pounding, but his voice was steady. "That boy saved my daughter's life. I am going to make damn sure he does not die alone." The engine roared. He disappeared toward the hospital. Behind him, 14 more motorcycles followed. The waiting room at Riverside General was cold. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting everything in a harsh white glow. Cole sat in a plastic chair, still wearing his leather vest, still covered in road dust. 3 of his brothers were with him. Diesel, massive and silent. Axel, sharp eyes scanning every entrance. Harlan, arms crossed, jaw tight. 2 hours passed. A doctor finally appeared, looking tired and grim. He held a clipboard like a shield. "Family of Ethan." He checked the clipboard. "We do not have a last name." Cole stood, 6'2", 240 pounds, covered in tattoos, a presence that made people instinctively step back. "I am here for him." The doctor frowned. "Are you a relative?" "Does it matter?" "We need someone to authorize treatment. The boy has no identification, no insurance, no emergency contacts. Legally," Cole stepped closer. Not threatening. He would never threaten a woman or someone trying to help, but close enough that the doctor had to look up to meet his eyes. "That boy saved my daughter's life tonight," he said quietly. "He took a knife to keep her safe. Whatever he needs, surgery, blood, specialists, I am paying for it, all of it. Is that clear?" The doctor swallowed. "Crystal clear." "Good. Now tell me if he is going to live." The doctor explained. Broken ribs, 2 of them shattered, 1 punctured close to the lung, severe concussion from the blow to his head, and a 7-inch laceration on his left forearm that had nicked an artery. He lost a lot of blood. We had to operate to repair the damage. He is stable now, but the next 24 hours are critical. "Can I see him?" "He is unconscious. He will not know you are there." "I do not care." The doctor led him down a long hallway to a room at the end. Through the window, Cole could see the boy lying in a hospital bed, hooked up to machines that beeped and hummed. He looked even smaller here. 7 years old, bones showing through his skin, old bruises on his arms that had nothing to do with tonight. Cole's hands curled into fists. "What do we know about him?" he asked. "Nothing, no records. No one has reported a missing child matching his description. He is a ghost." "A ghost." "Leave us alone," Cole said. The doctor retreated. Cole pulled a chair up to the bed and sat down heavily. For a long moment he just stared at the small face, the dark circles under his eyes, the way his chest rose and fell with each shallow breath. Then slowly he reached out and took Ethan's small hand in his. "Hey kid," he said softly. "I do not know if you can hear me, but I am going to say this anyway." He squeezed gently. "You saved my little girl tonight. You did not know her daddy was a biker. You did not know she had people who could have helped. You just saw her in trouble and you threw yourself in front of a knife. His voice cracked. He cleared his throat. I have known grown men who would not do what you did. Hell, I have known brothers who talked big but ran when it mattered. But you are 7 years old and you almost died for a girl you barely know. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. So here is what is going to happen. You are going to wake up, you are going to heal, and whatever comes next, you are not doing it alone. He leaned forward. I do not care if you have got no family. I do not care if the whole damn system has written you off. You are not invisible anymore. You hear me? Not to me, not ever again. The machines beeped. Ethan did not stir, but Cole stayed. He stayed all night. At 3:47 in the morning, his phone rang. Yeah, it is Diesel. We got a problem. Cole stepped out of the room, keeping his voice low. Talk to me. That van you had us looking for, we found it. Where? Abandoned, 2 miles outside of town. But here is the thing, Prez. Diesel's voice was tight with barely controlled rage. There were zip ties in the back, children's shoes, and a list. Cole's blood went cold. What kind of list? Names, ages, photos, 12 kids, all under 10 years old. Silence. Our little friend Maya was on there. More silence. Cole looked through the window at Ethan. A 7-year-old homeless boy had stumbled onto a trafficking operation and he had almost died trying to stop it. This was not random, Diesel continued. This was organized, professional. Someone has been targeting kids in this area for months. Call church, Cole said. Everyone. Wake them up if you have to. What are we doing? What we do best. He hung up and walked back into the room. Ethan was still unconscious, still pale, still fighting. You did not just save Maya, Cole whispered. You might have saved them all. He pulled out his phone again and started making calls. By sunrise, every Steel Wolves chapter within 300 miles would know what had happened. By noon, the roads would shake with the sound of 200 engines. And by nightfall, the men who had tried to take his daughter would learn what happened when you threatened someone the Steel Wolves protected. But that was tomorrow. Tonight, Cole sat beside a 7-year-old hero's bed and watched him breathe. The sun was just breaking over Riverside when the first motorcycle pulled into the hospital parking lot. Then another, then 10 more. Cole had not slept. His eyes burned. His back ached from the plastic chair. But he had not moved from Ethan's bedside except to make calls. Now standing at the window, he watched his brothers arrive. Diesel was first, his massive frame unmistakable, even from this distance. Then Axel, Harlan. The twins they called Salt and Pepper. Behind them came faces Cole had not seen in months. Riders from Austin, from Houston, from as far as El Paso. His phone buzzed on. President, we are in the lot, 47 and counting. Keep them quiet, this is a hospital. Copy that. Cole looked back at Ethan. The boy had not woken up. The machines kept beeping their steady rhythm, the only proof that he was still fighting. I got to step out for a minute, kid, Cole said softly. But I am coming back. That is a promise. He walked out of the room and headed for the parking lot. The sight that greeted him made his chest tight. 47 motorcycles lined up in perfect rows. 47 men in leather vests, standing silent in the morning light. Some he knew like brothers. Others he had only met once or twice. But they had all come. They had all come for a 7-year-old boy none of them had ever met. Diesel stepped forward. Word spread fast, Prez. Everyone wants in on whatever you are planning. Cole felt the anger rise in his chest, hot and sharp. Where is the list now? Harlan has it. We made copies. Sent the original to a contact at the sheriff's office. Anonymous tip. Good, what else? We traced the van's registration. Fake plates, but Axel found a parking ticket from 3 weeks ago. Same van, parked outside an elementary school in Cedar Creek. Cole's hands clenched into fists. They have been scouting for months. Looks like, maybe longer. Diesel paused, and nobody noticed. Nobody was looking. Diesel was quiet for a moment, until that kid in there decided to look. Cole turned back toward the hospital. A 7-year-old homeless boy had seen what cops, parents, and an entire town had missed. Get everyone inside, he said. Conference room on the 2nd floor. We need to talk. He walked back into the hospital, back to Ethan's room, back to the chair beside the bed. The boy was still unconscious, still fighting. Cole took his hand again. They are here, kid, he whispered. 200 brothers, all for you. The machines beeped. And in the parking lot below, the sound of motorcycle engines rumbled like distant thunder. A promise, a warning, a storm gathering on the horizon. Nina arrived at 7:15. Maya held her hand, clutching a piece of paper against her chest. Her eyes were red from crying. She had not slept. "How is he?" Nina asked. Cole stood from the chair, his back cracked. 3 hours of sitting had turned his spine to concrete. "Still unconscious. Doctors say he might wake up today." "Might?" "They are not sure. He lost a lot of blood." Maya tugged on Cole's jacket. "Daddy, I made something for Ethan." She held up the paper. It was a butterfly, carefully folded from a napkin, lopsided and imperfect, but made with more love than Cole had seen in anything. "I want to give it to him," Maya said. "I want the butterfly to be the first thing he sees when he wakes up. So he knows I did not leave." Cole's throat tightened. He knelt down to her level. "Baby girl." "I told him I would not let go," she interrupted. Her voice was fierce. "I told him, and I keep my promises." Cole looked at his daughter, 5 years old, small and fierce and braver than she had any right to be. "Okay," he said. "Let us go to put it by his bed." The hospital room felt different with Maya in it. She walked straight to Ethan's bed, stood on her tiptoes, and carefully placed the paper butterfly on the pillow next to his head. "There," she whispered. "Now you will not be scared when you wake up." Nina watched from the doorway, tears streaming down her face. "He is so small, Cole. He is smaller than Maya." "I know. How does a child that young end up on the streets? Where are his parents? Where is the system that is supposed to protect kids like him?" Cole did not have an answer. He had been asking himself the same questions all night. "Mama," Maya said. "Yes, baby?" "Ethan does not have a mama or daddy, does he?" Nina wiped her eyes. "I do not know, baby." "Then who takes care of him?" Silence. Maya looked at Ethan's pale face, at the bandages on his arm, at the machines monitoring his heart. Then she looked at her parents with those big brown eyes that saw everything. "I will take care of him," she said. "He saved me, so now I will save him." Cole and Nina exchanged a look. "Baby girl," Cole started. "It is not that simple," Nina finished. "Why not?" Neither of them had an answer for that. At 9:30 in the morning, Detective Marcus Kane walked into the hospital. He was a big man, heavy-set, gray hair, and a weathered face that had seen too much. Cole knew him from way back. They had grown up in the same neighborhood, taken different paths, but kept a mutual respect. They shook hands. "Cole, Marcus, hell of a night." Kane glanced around, lowered his voice. "You got our package? The list?" "Yeah, we got it. I made some calls. FBI is interested. This might be bigger than we thought." Cole felt ice form in his veins. "How big?" Kane's face was grim. "Big. That list had 12 names, but we found another list in a database the feds have been tracking. Same format, same organization, over 50 kids across 3 states. The world tilted slightly. Cole grabbed the wall to steady himself. 50? At least, some already missing, some still being watched. Kane paused. That little boy in there, he stumbled onto something massive. If he had not intervened when he did, your daughter would have been number 53. Cole could not speak. He looked through the window at Ethan, small and pale and fighting for his life. A 7-year-old homeless boy had saved more than just Maya. He had exposed a network that had been operating in the shadows for years. "Who are these people?" Cole finally managed. "We do not know yet, but we are going to find out." Kane studied Cole's face. What are you planning, Cole?" "What do you mean?" "I have known you 30 years. I know that look. You are planning something." Cole met his eyes. "I am planning to make sure whoever did this pays for it. Let us handle it. This is police business. And I will let you handle the legal side, but if you think I am going to sit around while the people who tried to take my daughter are still out there." He did not finish, did not need to. Kane was quiet for a moment. "Just do not do anything stupid," he said finally. "Define stupid. Anything that lands you in a cell next to them." Cole smiled, but there was no warmth in it. No promises. At 11 in the morning, Ethan's monitor started beeping faster. The nurse rushed in. Cole and Nina were right behind her. "What is happening?" Nina demanded. "He is waking up." The nurse checked the machines, adjusted something on the IV. "His vitals are stabilizing. This is good." Ethan's eyes were moving beneath his closed lids. His fingers twitched. A small sound escaped his throat, something between a whimper and a groan. "Easy, kid," Cole said, moving to the bedside. "You are safe. You are in a hospital. Nobody is going to hurt you." Ethan's eyes opened. For a moment, he just stared at the ceiling, confusion clouding his face. Then his gaze shifted to Cole and pure terror flooded his expression. He tried to move, tried to get away, but the IV and monitors held him in place. Hey, hey. Cole held up his hands, not threatening, just showing he was not a danger. It is okay. I am not going to hurt you. I am Maya's dad. Ethan froze. His breathing was ragged. His eyes were wild. Maya. Yeah, Maya, the little girl you saved. Memory crashed back into Ethan's eyes. The van, the knife, the blood. Is she okay? His voice was barely a whisper, unwell from the breathing tube they had removed earlier. The man, did he? She is fine. She is perfect. Because of you. The door opened and Maya slipped in. She had been waiting in the hallway and nobody had been able to keep her out when she heard Ethan's voice. Ethan! She ran to the bed, climbed onto the chair beside it and grabbed his hand. You are awake! You are awake! I knew you would wake up. I made you a butterfly. See? She pointed to the paper butterfly on his pillow. Ethan looked at it, then he looked at Maya. And for the first time since Cole had met him, the boy smiled. It was small, weak, barely there, but it was real. You stayed, Ethan whispered. I told you I would not let go, Maya said fiercely. I keep my promises. Ethan's eyes filled with fresh tears. He looked at the butterfly on his pillow, at the little girl holding his hand, at the big man in the leather vest who had not left his side. I thought I was gonna do it, he said quietly. You almost did, Cole said, but you did not, and now you are going to get better. What happens then? Cole looked at his daughter, still holding Ethan's hand, at his wife, watching from the doorway with tears on her face, at the paper butterfly on the pillow, made by a 5-year-old who had decided that this boy belonged to her. Then we figure out the rest to us of them, Cole said, because you are not alone anymore, kid. You never have to be alone again. Ethan stared at him. His face was a battlefield of emotions, hope and fear, doubt and longing, the desperate need to believe, warring with 18 months of proof that no one could be trusted. You do not even know me, he said. I know enough. I know you saved my daughter. I know you almost died for her. And I know that anyone who would do that deserves better than what life has given you. Ethan was quiet for a long moment. Then Maya squeezed his hand. You are my friend, she said simply. That means you are family, Poe. That is how it works. Ethan looked at her, at this fierce little girl who had thrown a rock at a grown man to save him, who had held his bloody hand and refused to let go, who had made him a butterfly and promised to keep him safe. Okay, he whispered. It was not much, just one word, but it was the most important word Ethan had ever spoken, because for the first time in 18 months, he let himself believe. He let himself hope. He let himself be seen. 3 days passed. Ethan grew stronger. The color returned to his face. The machines beeped less urgently. The doctor said he was healing faster than they expected, that children were resilient, that his body was fighting back with everything it had, but his eyes still carried shadows. Maya noticed. She noticed everything about Ethan now. The way he flinched when doors opened too fast. The way he watched the windows like he expected someone to come through them. The way he held the paper butterfly she had made him, clutching it against his chest whenever he slept. She noticed, and she decided to fix it. Ethan needs to come home with us, she announced at breakfast on the 4th day. Cole nearly choked on his coffee. Nina set down her fork. Baby girl, Nina said carefully. It is not that simple. Why not? Because there are rules, laws. Ethan does not have any family, which means the government has to decide where he goes. Maya's face scrunched up. The government is stupid. Maya, it is. Ethan saved me. He got hurt because of me, and now the government gets to decide if he is happy or not. She crossed her arms. That is stupid. Cole exchanged a look with Nina. Their daughter was 5 years old and she had just summarized the entire foster care system better than most politicians. She has a point, he said quietly. Nina sighed. I know she does, but wanting something and making it happen are two different things. Daddy, Maya turned to Cole with those big brown eyes. You fix things. That is what you do. You fixed Mr. Diesel's motorcycle when everyone said it was broken forever. You fixed the clubhouse roof when the storm knocked it down. You can fix this. Cole felt his heart crack open. Baby girl, this is different. Motorcycles and roofs are easy. People are complicated. Ethan is not complicated. He is wet and scared and alone. And we are not sad or scared, and we have a whole house with extra rooms. She paused, her logic impeccable. So he should live with us. Problem solved. Nina covered her mouth with her hand. Cole could not tell if she was laughing or crying, maybe both. Let me make some calls, he said finally. I will see what I can do. Maya's face lit up like the sun coming out. Really? Really, but I am not promising anything, baby girl. These things take time. How much time? I do not know. Maya considered this. Then she nodded, her jaw set with determination. Okay, but while you are making calls, I'm going to tell Ethan. He needs to know we are not giving up on him. She slid off her chair and headed for the door. Maya, wait. But she was already gone. Nina looked at Cole. What are we going to do? Cole stared at the door that his daughter had just walked through. At 5 years old, she had more courage than most adults he knew, more heart, more stubbornness. We are going to figure it out, he said, because if we do not, that little girl's going to figure it out for us. And something tells me her solution will be a lot more dramatic. Maya found Ethan sitting up in bed, staring out the window at the parking lot below. The motorcycles were still there, not as many as before. Most of the brothers had gone back to their chapters, their families, their lives. But a rotating group always remained, standing guard, watching, waiting. Ethan did not understand why. Hey, Maya said, climbing onto the chair beside his bed. Hey, what are you looking at? The motorcycles. He paused. Why are they still here? Because of you, dummy. But I did not do anything. Maya gave him a look that was far too wise for a 5-year-old. You saved me. That is not nothing. Anyone would have done it. No, her voice was firm. No, they would not have. Mama says most people look away when bad things happen. They pretend they do not see. But you did not look away. You ran toward me, not away. Ethan was quiet. He did not know how to respond to that. Ethan? Yeah? Do you want to live with us? The question hit him like a punch to the chest. His breath caught. His hands gripped the blanket. What? Live with us. At our house. In a real bedroom with a real bed and real food every day. She paused. You could have the room next to mine. It has a window that looks at the stars. I would share my toys with you. And Mr. Woolsworth, he is my elephant, but he likes you. I can tell. Ethan stared at her. His heart was pounding so hard he could feel it in his throat. I cannot. Why not? Because that is not how it works. I am a foster kid. Foster kids do not get to choose where they live. The government decides. Daddy is going to fix it. He cannot. He can fix anything. Maya, Ethan's voice cracked. You do not understand. I have been in the system my whole life. Every time I think something good is going to happen, it does not. Every time someone says they will help me, they give up. That is just how it is for kids like me. Maya was quiet for a moment. Then she reached out and took his hand. I am not going to give up, she said. I promised I would not let go. Remember? That was different. No, it was not. Her grip tightened. I do not care what the government says. I do not care what anyone says. You are my friend. You saved me, and I am going to save you back. She smiled at him, bright and fierce and absolutely certain. That is what family does, Ethan. They do not give up on each other. Ever. Ethan could not speak. The lump in his throat was too big. So he just held her hand and let himself believe, for one small moment, that maybe she was right. Maybe this time would be different. Maybe this time someone would actually keep their promise. This knock came at 2 in the afternoon. Cole was reading to Ethan a worn copy of Where the Wild Things Are that Nina had brought from home. Ethan was listening intently, his photographic memory absorbing every word, every illustration. The nurse entered, looking nervous. Mr. Barrett, there are some people here to see Ethan. Who? They say they are his family, his aunt and uncle. The book slipped from Cole's hands. He looked at Ethan. The boy's face had gone white. I will handle this, Cole said, standing. Stay here, kid. Who are they, Cole? Ethan's voice was small. I do not know yet, but I am going to find out. Cole stepped into the hallway and closed the door behind him. 2 people stood there. A woman and a man, both in their late 40s, both dressed in expensive clothes that screamed money and status. Behind them stood a lawyer with a briefcase and a practiced smile. The woman had tears in her eyes. The man's jaw was tight, like he was holding back an ocean of emotion. Mr. Barrett, the man said, extending his hand. Cole did not take it. Who are you? I am Thomas Grant. This is my wife, Elena. We are Ethan's biological aunt and uncle. Cole felt his stomach drop. We have been looking for him for 2 years, Elena said. Her voice was trembling. His mother was my sister. When she died, we tried to find him, but the foster system, the records were incomplete. We thought he was dead. She saw Ethan through the window. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, Ethan. It is really you. She started toward the door. Cole blocked her path. You are not going in there. He is our nephew. He is a scared kid who has been through hell. You are not barging in and making it worse. The lawyer stepped forward. Mr. Barrett, my clients have legal right. Your clients have been looking for 2 years and could not find a kid sleeping behind a dumpster in their own state. Cole's voice was cold. Elena flinched. Direct hit. A woman appeared behind them. Cole recognized her. Sarah Mitchell, CPS caseworker. Mr. Barrett, we need to discuss Ethan's placement. He is staying with me. You are not a certified foster parent. The Grants are blood relatives. Legally, that boy saved my daughter's life. Legally, I am not letting him go back into a system that already failed him. It is not your choice. Then make it my choice. Tell me what I need to do. Sarah studied him for a long moment. Then she glanced at the Grants, at the lawyer, at the door where Ethan was listening to every word. This is going to court, she said quietly. A judge will decide based on the best interest of the child. Good, let them decide. Cole turned back to the Grants. You want Ethan? You are going to have to fight for him because I am not giving him up without a war. Thomas Grant met his eyes. Two men who had never met before, suddenly locked in battle over a child they both loved. Neither are we, Thomas said. Inside the room, Ethan sat frozen in his bed. He had heard everything through the door. Aunt, uncle, blood relatives. 2 years searching. Maya was beside him, holding his hand. Ethan, she whispered. What is wrong? They are going to take me away, he said. His voice was breaking. People I have never met. They say they are family, but he could not finish. The bad thing had come, just like he knew it would. Maya squeezed his hand tighter. I am not letting them, she said. I promised I would not let go. I keep my promises. The door opened. Cole came back in. His face was grim. Kid, we need to talk. Ethan looked at him with eyes that had seen too much. Are they taking me? Not if I have anything to say about it. But you might not. Then I will fight. We will all fight. Maya climbed onto the bed beside Ethan. I'm not letting go, Ethan, I promised. Cole knelt beside the bed so he was eye level with them both. Listen to me, both of you. Those people out there, they say they are Ethan's family. They say they have been looking for him and the law says blood relatives get priority. Ethan's face crumpled. But, Cole continued, his voice steady and strong, the law also says the judge has to decide what is best for the child. Not what is easiest, not what is quickest, what is best. He took Ethan's free hand. And I am going to make damn sure that judge knows what is best for you is staying right here with us, where you are safe, where you are loved, where you are home. What if the judge does not listen? Ethan whispered. Then we appeal. And if they do not listen to we appeal again, and we keep fighting until someone listens. Cole's jaw was set. His eyes were fierce. Because you are not alone anymore, Ethan. You have got a 5-year-old warrior who refuses to let go of your hand. You have got 200 bikers who rode through the night for you. And you have got me. He squeezed Ethan's hand. And I have never lost a fight that mattered. Maya looked at her father, then at Ethan. See, she said, I told you, we do not give up. Through the window, Elena and Thomas Grant stood watching. Elena was crying. Thomas had his arm around her. They loved Ethan too. In their own way, they had searched for 2 years. They had never stopped hoping. But love alone was not enough. Connection mattered. History mattered. And the bond that had formed between Ethan and the Barrett family in these past 4 days was forged in blood and sacrifice, and a promise that could not be broken. The battle for Ethan's future had just begun, and Cole Barrett had never lost a fight that mattered. That night, while Ethan slept and Maya dozed in the chair beside his bed, Cole stood at the window and watched the parking lot below. 47 motorcycles had become 112. More were coming. His phone buzzed. President Axel tracked the driver. Name is Owen Vance. Former cop kicked off the force 6 years ago for evidence tampering. He has been working as a scout for the trafficking ring ever since. Do we know where he is? Not yet, but we will. Cole looked at Ethan's sleeping face, at his daughter's hands still wrapped around the boys even in sleep. Find him, he said. Find all of them. What then? Cole thought about the list. 12 children, 50 across 3 states, families torn apart, lives destroyed, and one 7-year-old boy who had stumbled into the darkness and somehow found the courage to fight. Then we remind them why you do not threaten what the steel wolves protect. He hung up and turned back to the room. Ethan's eyes were open. He had heard everything. Mr. Barrett? Yeah, kid. Are you going to get the bad people? Cole walked to the bed and sat down in the chair beside it. Yeah, he said. We are going to get them. All of them? Every last one. Ethan was quiet for a moment. Good. His eyes closed, his breathing steadied, and within minutes, he was asleep again. But this time, for the first time in 18 months, he slept without fear. Because he was not invisible anymore. Because someone had finally seen him. And because 200 angels were riding to protect him. Outside, the motorcycles rumbled, a promise. A warning. A storm that was no longer gathering. It had arrived. Sarah Mitchell arrived at the hospital with a stack of forms thicker than Ethan's arm. Background checks, home inspections, character references, financial statements, medical evaluations, pages and pages of bureaucracy that stood between a homeless boy and a home. This is going to take time, she warned Cole. Weeks at minimum, maybe months. We do not have months. I know. She looked through the window at Ethan, who was teaching Maya how to fold paper cranes. Their heads were bent together, concentrating on the delicate folds. They looked like siblings already. Mr. Barrett, if I am being honest, I have been doing this job for 15 years. I have placed hundreds of children, and I have never seen anyone fight as hard for a kid as you have fought for Ethan. He is worth fighting for. Yes, Sarah said quietly. Yes, he is. She set the stack of papers on the table. The home inspection is scheduled for tomorrow. Your background check is already running. The grants have filed their petition. The court date is set for 2 weeks from now. Cole felt the timeline closing in like a vice. 2 weeks. Judge Patricia Townsend. She is tough but fair. She will want to hear from Ethan, from Maya, from both families. And then she will decide what is in the best interest of the child. Sarah paused. Mr. Barrett, I need you to understand something. The Grants are blood relatives. They have resources. They have been searching for 2 years. That counts for a lot in family court. So what are you saying? I am saying that love is not always enough. Sometimes the system makes decisions that break hearts. Sometimes good people lose. Cole looked at her. Not this time, he said. Not this kid. That night, while Cole sat in the hospital preparing for the custody battle, Diesel called. Prez, we found the warehouse. Owen Vance and at least 7 others inside. We spotted kids through the windows. Cole's blood went cold. How many? At least 4 that we can see. Maybe more. Cole looked at Ethan sleeping peacefully for the first time in days. Looked at Maya curled up in the chair beside him, refusing to leave. Call Detective Kane. We do this clean. By the book. Understood. Diesel? Yeah, Prez? Nobody gets hurt. The kids, I mean. Whatever it takes, the kids come first. Copy that. Cole hung up and sat back down beside Ethan's bed. The boy stirred, opened his eyes. Cole? Yeah, kid, I'm here. I had a dream. About my mom. Yeah? She was making butterflies. She said, Ethan's voice was soft, still heavy with sleep. She said that ugly things can become beautiful, that broken things can be fixed. Cole squeezed his hand. Your mom was right. Ethan looked at him with those old eyes and a young face. Am I broken? No, kid, you are not broken. You are healing. There is a difference. Ethan closed his eyes again. I hope so, he whispered. The warehouse sat at the edge of town, surrounded by dead trees and rusted machinery. Detective Kane had coordinated with the FBI. SWAT was positioned on the north side. Federal agents monitored communications from a van 2 miles away. But the steel wolves had the perimeter. 53 motorcycles. 53 men in leather vests. Not a single engine running. Not a single light visible. Silent as ghosts. Diesel's voice came through Cole's earpiece. 8 men inside confirmed. We have visual on 4 children now. Ages look young, 5 to 8 maybe. Cole's hands gripped his handlebars. 4 children. Not 12. Where were the others? Armed? Have to assume so, Kane's voice crackled through the radio. All units, we are a go in 60 seconds. Cole counted down in his head. 60. 59. 58. He thought about Ethan lying in that hospital bed, holding a paper butterfly like it was the only thing keeping him alive. 43. 42. 41. He thought about Maya standing in the parking lot, covered in blood that was not hers, screaming for her mother. 28, 27, 26. He thought about the 12 names on that list. 12 children, 12 families, 12 lives that had been targeted by monsters. 10, 9, 8. Tonight, the monsters would learn what happened when they hunted in Steel Wolf's territory. Go! The breach was fast and en-route. SWAT hit the front door first. The sound of splintering wood echoed across the clearing, followed by shouts and the pop of flashbang grenades. Smoke poured from the windows. The Steel Wolves moved. 53 bikers spread out across the perimeter. Engines still silent, covering every exit, every window, every shadow. Inside, chaos erupted. Cole heard gunfire. Once. Twice. Then nothing. East corridor clear. North wing clear. We have got runners. 2 males heading for the south exit. Cole's head snapped toward the south side of the warehouse. 2 figures burst through a fire door, sprinting toward the tree line. One of them was carrying something. No. Someone. A child. Diesel, Axel, with me! 3 motorcycles roared to life. The sound shattered the silence like a thunderclap. The runners heard them coming. The one without the child split off, heading east. The other kept going south, the small body bouncing in his arms. Harlan, take the east runner, Cole commanded. The bikes separated. Cole pushed his Harley harder. The gap closed. 50 yards. 30. 20. The runner looked over his shoulder and Cole saw his face. Owen Vance, panic in his eyes, desperation. The look of a predator who had suddenly become prey. Stop! Put the child down! Vance kept running, 10 yards. Cole made a decision. He gunned the engine, pulled ahead, and swung his bike sideways. The rear tire skidded across the dirt, blocking Vance's path. Diesel was already there, cutting off the other direction. Trapped. Nowhere to go, Cole said, killing his engine. He swung off the bike and stood in the darkness. Put the child down. Vance was breathing hard, wild-eyed. The child in his arms, a girl maybe 6 or 7, was limp. Unconscious or drugged, Cole could not tell. Back off, Vance screamed. I will hurt her. I swear to God, I will hurt her. No, you will not. I will. I will. You will not. Cole stepped closer, slowly, calmly. Because if you do, what happens next will make you wish you had never been born. You cannot touch me. The cops are right there. They will. The cops are busy, and by the time they get here, this will be over. Another step. One way or another. Vance's eyes darted left, right, searching for an escape that did not exist. His grip on the child tightened. Who are you people? We are the Steel Wolves, and that little girl you tried to take 3 days ago, she belongs to me. The color drained from Vance's face. Oh, God. Yeah, another step. So here is what is going to happen. You are going to put that child down gently, and then you are going to lie face down on the ground with your hands behind your head. Cole's voice was quiet, deadly. And if I do not, then I am going to show you what happens to people who hurt children in my town. Vance looked at Cole, at Diesel, at Axel circling behind him with murder in his eyes, at the distant lights of the police cars, too far away to help. He put the child down. Detective Kane arrived 3 minutes later, breathing hard. Damn it, Cole, I told you. He was running with a kid. Was I supposed to let him go? Kane looked at Vance, lying face down in the dirt with Diesel's boot on his back. Then at the little girl, now conscious and crying in the arms of a female officer. Is she okay? Drugged but alive. Paramedics are on their way. Kane ran a hand over his face. He looked 10 years older than he had a week ago. We got 8 kids inside. Cole's heart sank. The list had 12. I know. Some of them were already moved before we got here. We are coordinating with the feds now. This goes deeper than we thought. How deep? Multi-state, maybe international. Kane paused. Vance was just a scout. There are bigger players above him. We are going to need time to unravel this. But the good news, Kane continued, is the information we got from this raid. It is already leading to more rescues. The FBI freed 7 more kids in Houston this morning, based on what we found. Cole looked down at Vance, who was glaring at him with pure hatred. You are going to pay for this, Vance spat. You do not know who you are messing with. Cole crouched down so they were eye to eye. Neither do you. The courtroom was cold. Wood paneling, high ceilings, fluorescent lights that made everyone look sick. Cole sat at one table with Nina and Ethan, Maya beside him, swinging her legs, too short to reach the floor. Across the aisle, Thomas and Elena Grant sat with their lawyer, expensive suits, and practiced expressions. Between them, a 7-year-old boy who had become the center of a war he never asked to fight. Judge Patricia Townsend entered. Everyone stood. She was in her 60s, gray hair pulled back in a severe bun, reading glasses perched on her nose. Her face gave nothing away. Be seated. The courtroom sat. In the matter of custody of Ethan, last name unknown, this court will hear testimony to determine the best interest of the child. She looked at both tables. I have reviewed the files. The Grant's petition, Mr. Barrett's emergency foster application, the reports from Child Protective Services. She paused. This is not a typical case. That was an understatement. We will begin with testimony. Miss Maya Barrett, please come forward. Maya climbed down from her chair. She walked to the witness stand on legs that did not quite reach the step stool the bailiff placed for her. The lawyer, a woman named Rebecca Garrett, approached gently. Maya, can you tell the court what happened the night Ethan was hurt? Maya's voice was small at first, but it grew stronger as she spoke. A bad man tried to take me. Ethan stopped him. How did he stop him? He would not let go of my hand, even when the man hurt him, even when there was so much blood. Her voice broke. I thought Ethan was going to die. But he still held on? Yes, because he promised to keep me safe. Garrett waited a moment. What did you do? I picked up a rock and threw it at the bad man, hard, right in his face, and then I held Ethan's hand, because that is what family does. The Grant's lawyer stood. Objection. The witness is characterizing a relationship that has not been established. Judge Townsend looked at him over her glasses. Overruled. The child may describe her feelings. Garrett continued. Maya, the Grants say they are Ethan's real family. What do you think about that? Maya's chin lifted. I do not care about blood. Blood is just red stuff inside your body. Family is about love. Family is about being there when it matters. She pointed at Ethan. He almost died for me. He is more my family than anyone in the whole world. What do you want to happen today? I want Ethan to stay with us forever. I promised him I would not let go. I promised him I would save him like he saved me. Her voice broke again. Please do not make me break my promise. Please. The courtroom was silent. Judge Townsend was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was softer than it had been all day. Thank you, Maya. You have been very brave, just like your brother. Maya's face lit up. He is my brother. You said it. He is my brother. She climbed down from the stand and ran straight to Ethan, throwing her arms around him. I told her, she whispered. I told her everything. Ethan held her tight. I know, he said. I heard. Ethan, please come forward. He walked to the stand on legs that felt like water. The whole room was staring at him. The Grants, the Barretts, the judge, everyone. He climbed onto the step stool Maya had used. His hands were shaking. Ethan, Judge Townsend said gently, I know this is hard, but I need to hear from you in your own words. He nodded. His throat was dry. Can you tell me about your life before you met the Barretts? He stared at his hands. I do not remember much about before my mom died. I remember she used to sing to me, make paper butterflies. She said butterflies were magic because they started as caterpillars and turned into something beautiful. She said people could do that too. His voice cracked. After she died, I went to foster care. The first family was okay. The second was not. The third, he stopped. I do not want to talk about the third. That is okay, you do not have to. I ran away when I was 6, lived on the streets for a year and a half. I slept behind dumpsters. I ate what I could find. He looked up at the judge. I learned how to be invisible, because invisible meant safe. If nobody saw you, nobody could hurt you. Judge Townsend's expression was unreadable. And then I met Maya. His face changed, softened. She was the first person who saw me, really saw me. Not just looked through me like I was not there. She talked to me, gave me things, made me feel like I was a real person and not just a ghost. He pulled the paper butterfly from his pocket, worn now, creased and faded, held together with tape. She made me this, the first day we met. His voice was barely a whisper. It looks just like the ones my mom used to make, exactly like them. He looked at Maya. She did not know that, could not have known, but she made me a butterfly anyway. Because she wanted me to be happy, because she is the kindest person I have ever met. He turned back to the judge. When the bad man came, I was scared. more scared than I have ever been in my life, but I could not let him take her. I could not let him hurt her. His jaw tightened. She was the only person in the world who saw me, and I was not going to let anyone take that away. Ethan, Judge Townsend said quietly, the Grants are your biological family, your only blood relatives. They say they have been looking for you for years. Do you have anything to say to them? Ethan looked at Elena and Thomas, at these strangers who shared his blood, who claimed to love him, who wanted to take him to a house he had never seen in a city he had never visited, away from everything he had just found. I believe you looked for me, he said slowly. I believe you spent money and hired people and tried to find me. Elena's face filled with hope. But you did not find me. His voice hardened. You did not find me when I was sleeping in alleys, when I was hungry, when I was scared and alone and wishing I was dead. Elena flinched. Someone else found me. Someone who was not looking. Someone who did not have to care. He pointed at Cole. He found me bleeding in a parking lot, and he did not walk away. He sat next to my bed for 3 days. He held my hand when I had nightmares. He promised me I would never be alone again. His voice broke. I do not know what family means. I do not know the rules, but I know what it feels like to be loved. And for the first time in my whole life, I feel it. He looked at Maya, at Cole, at Nina. They are my family. Not because of blood, because of choice. Because they chose me when they did not have to. Because they fought for me when no one else would. He turned back to the judge. I do not want to leave them. Please. Tears streamed down his face. Please do not make me leave them. This is the first time I have ever felt like I belonged somewhere, like I mattered, like I was home. He wiped his eyes with his sleeve. I know you are the judge. I know you get to decide. But I am asking you. I am begging you. His voice cracked. Please let me stay. The courtroom was silent. Judge Townsend stared at Ethan for a long moment. Her face was still unreadable. Then she looked down at her papers, made a note, looked up again. Thank you, Ethan. You may step down. He climbed off the stool on shaking legs. Maya was waiting for him. She grabbed his hand and did not let go. Judge Townsend was quiet for a long time. She reviewed her notes. She looked at the Grants. She looked at the Barretts. She looked at Ethan and Maya sitting together, holding hands like their lives depended on it. Finally, she spoke. I have been a judge for 23 years. I have presided over hundreds of custody cases. I have seen parents fight over children like property. I have seen adults put their own needs before the needs of the kids they claim to love. She paused. This case is different. She looked at the Grants. Mr. and Mrs. Grant, I do not doubt that you love Ethan. I do not doubt that you searched for him. I do not doubt that you can provide him with material comfort and financial security. Her voice hardened slightly. But love alone is not enough. Connection matters. History matters. And the bond that has been formed between Ethan and the Barrett family is unlike anything I have ever seen. She took off her glasses. I was a foster child once. The courtroom went still. I bounced between 7 homes before I aged out of the system. I know what it is like to be invisible, to be a number, a file, a problem. She looked at Ethan. And I know what it is like when someone finally sees you. That changes everything. She put her glasses back on. It is the ruling of this court that Ethan shall remain in the custody of Cole and Nina Barrett. The courtroom erupted. Maya screamed. She threw herself at Ethan, nearly knocking him off his chair. You are staying forever. Ethan could not speak, could not breathe. The tears were coming too fast. Judge Townsend raised her hand for silence. I am not finished. The room quieted. The Grants are granted visitation rights to be arranged at a later date. They are Ethan's blood relatives. That connection should not be severed entirely. She looked at Elena and Thomas. I hope in time you can become part of his extended family, but that will be Ethan's choice to make. She turned to Ethan. Young man, you have been through more in 7 years than most people experience in a lifetime. You have shown courage, resilience, and a capacity for love that puts many adults to shame. Her voice softened. You deserve a home. You deserve a family, and now you have both. She banged her gavel. Court is adjourned. Outside the courthouse, Thomas and Elena Grant approached them. Cole tensed. You ready for a fight? But Thomas just stood there, looking broken and beaten and somehow, despite everything, relieved. Mr. Barrett, Mr. Grant. They stared at each other. 2 men who had been enemies an hour ago. Two men who both loved the same child. I want you to know something, Thomas said slowly. We were not trying to take him from you. We just wanted our nephew. We wanted what was left of my wife's sister. His voice cracked. Grace would have loved what you have done for him. She would have been grateful. He paused. And I am grateful too. He extended his hand. Cole looked at it for a long moment. Then he shook it. You are still his family, Cole said. Blood matters too, just not as much as love. Thomas nodded. Then he turned to Ethan. I know you do not know us. I know we are strangers to you, but we would like to change that when you are ready, if you are ever ready. Ethan studied this man who shared his blood, the stranger who had searched for him, who had loved his mother, who had lost her too. Maybe, he said quietly. Someday. Lena knelt down to his level. Her eyes were red from crying, but she was smiling. You look just like her, she whispered. Just like Grace. I know, everyone says that. She would be so proud of you, Ethan, so incredibly proud. She hugged him gently, not claiming possession, just saying hello. Then the Grants walked away, and Ethan stood there surrounded by his family and realized that maybe the world was not as cruel as he had thought. Maybe, just maybe, there was room for more love than he had ever imagined. 3 months later, the adoption was finalized. Ethan Cole Barrett, he said out loud in his room, testing how it felt on his tongue. It felt like coming home. Stop saying your own name, weirdo. Maya appeared in his doorway, grinning. At the dinner table, Cole raised his glass. To our family, all 4 of us. To family, Nina echoed. To spaghetti. Maya shouted. Everyone laughed. Ethan looked around the table. At Cole, strong and steady and always there. At Nina, warm and kind and endlessly patient. At Maya, fierce and loving and absolutely certain that she could fix anything. These people had chosen him, had fought for him, had loved him when he had given them no reason to. Can I say something, he asked. Of course, mijo, Nina said. I used to think invisible was the safest thing to be, that if nobody saw me, nobody could hurt me. He paused. But then I met Maya and she saw me, Bun. She saw me when nobody else did, and that scared me at first. But it also saved me. He looked at Cole. You saw me too. All of you. You looked at some dirty homeless kid and you saw someone worth loving. His voice broke. So thank you. Thank you for not looking away. Thank you for making me visible. Cole reached across the table and took his hand. You were never invisible, Ethan, not to us, not to anyone who has eyes to see what really matters. 10 years later, Ethan Cole Barrett stood at the back entrance of Chen's family diner. He was 17 now, tall, strong. The scar on his arm had faded to a thin white line. He wore a leather vest with an iron cross patch on the back. Maya appeared beside him, 15 now, fierce and beautiful. Her father's daughter in every way that mattered. You ready for this? Ready as I will ever be. They walked into the alley together. A boy was there, 8 years old, dirty, skinny, eyes too old for his face. He was counting bottle caps. Ethan felt his heart crack open, felt the years fall away, felt himself standing in that same spot a lifetime ago. He walked over slowly. Hey. The boy looked up. Fear flickered across his face, then defiance. I am not doing anything wrong. I will leave if you want. You do not have to leave. Ethan reached into his pocket, pulled out something he had carried with him for 10 years, something faded and worn and held together by tape and prayer. A paper butterfly. I want to give you this. The boy stared at it. Why? Because someone gave it to me once when I had nothing. It changed my life. Maybe it can change yours. I do not need your charity. It is not charity. It is hope. Ethan knelt down so they were eye to eye. I was you once, sleeping in alleys, eating from dumpsters, thinking nobody would ever see me. The boy's defiance wavered. What happened? Someone saw me. Someone decided I was worth fighting for. Ethan pressed the butterfly into the boy's palm. There is a shelter downtown, Second Chance House. The people there will help you. How do you know? Because I helped build it, because I run the youth outreach program, because I made a promise that no kid in this town would ever have to be invisible again. What is your name? Ethan Cole Barrett. What is yours? Marcus, Ethan smiled. Nice to meet you, Marcus. You hungry? Starving. Come on, then. He stood and offered his hand. Marcus hesitated, looked at the hand, looked at the butterfly, looked at the 2 strangers who had wandered into his alley and offered him something he had never expected. Hope. He took Ethan's hand. The next morning, 200 motorcycles rode through Riverside. It was an annual tradition now. Every October, on the anniversary of the night Ethan had bled for a biker's daughter, the clubs gathered to remember, to honor, to celebrate. Ethan rode at the front beside his father. Behind them, 100 engines roared. Above them, the sky stretched endless and blue. And in his pocket, pressed against his heart, was a new paper butterfly. One he had made himself the night before. One he would give to Marcus when the time was right. Because Ethan Cole Barrett had been invisible once. And he had risen. Not alone, never alone, with 200 angels at his back. And a little girl who had seen him when no one else would. A little girl who had kept her promise. A little girl who had taught him that family is not about blood. It is about choice. It is about courage. It is about love. And it is about never, ever letting go. Maya rode beside him, caught his eye, and grinned. "What?" she shouted over the engines. "Nothing," he called back. "Just glad you found me." "I did not find you," she said. "I saw you. There is a difference." And there was, because finding someone means stumbling upon them by accident, but seeing someone means choosing to look. Maya Barrett had chosen to look at a dirty, starving boy behind a dumpster and see something worth saving. And in doing so, she had not just changed his life. She had changed the world, one invisible child at a time. The motorcycles thundered down Main Street. The whole town came out to watch. Children waved, adults cheered, and somewhere in the crowd, a boy named Marcus stood holding a paper butterfly, believing for the first time that maybe he could be seen too. The engines roared, the sky opened wide, and 200 angels rode toward the horizon, carrying with them the promise that no child would ever be invisible again. Not on their watch, not ever.